We're on our way to the third floor to begin our museum tour. We got our free audio guide in English, so we're ready to go and ready to learn more about Mozart. Mozarthaus in Vienna, Austria presents the life and work of Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. The museum focuses on his Vienna years from 1781 to 1791. We toured the only remaining apartment in Vienna in which Mozart lived. He composed more music here than anywhere else. Mozart's Vienna is the exhibit on the third floor. I assure you that this is a magnificent place, Mozart wrote to his father in Salzburg in 1781. Mozart and his family lived in the apartment here from 1784 to 1787. Here he wrote The Marriage of Figaro. This was the largest and most expensive of his apartments. The apartment has 4 large rooms, 2 small ones, and a kitchen. There are a multitude of pieces from the time so that you can see what he would have had in terms of furnishings and entertainment. We just finished at the Mozarthaus, and I think we spent about 2 hours there. Admission was 12 euros a person, and that included a free audio guide. And we learned so much. One of my big questions about the life of Mozart is, why was he just buried in a communal kind of graveyard, right? I feel like he was working since he was a little kid, performing for very famous people. And I was just wondering why he kind of just died in a community grave. I know that there was some politics around that time, but this museum definitely answers some of the questions about how he didn't die as rich as I thought that he would have. Because one of his famous quotes was that I want to have everything that is good, genuine, and beautiful, which you can get a t-shirt of in the gift shop at the exit. But that really described a lot of his spending and kind of how he got into that situation, right? He was apparently big into gambling. I mean, we saw his billiards table and some other things, and he was into the finest things in life, from, fancy clothing to just all of the best for himself. But I mean, you work hard for it, you should be able to spend that kind of money, but he definitely probably spent a little bit too much money by the time he died. But it went into all the different theories about his death and about his requiem. We got to hear different pieces of music from Mozart. It was really well done. And if you take your time, listen to everything in the audio guide, you can have a full 2 hours of learning and entertainment for only 12 euros a person. So we definitely recommend you stop by this museum when you're here in Vienna. One of the most interesting facts to me that I did not know before I entered this museum on a personal level is that Mozart played the viola, which is important to me because my mom played the viola when she was growing up, and that kind of gave roots to all of the musical ambitions that I had. Now, Vienna might not be for everybody, especially if you're not into the Habsburg dynasty, but for me, this is an incredible city because we've been able to learn so much about these famous composers and musicians that were a big part of my childhood. I personally played saxophone. I played a lot of these pieces when I was growing up in middle school and high school. I mean, I was in concert band, marching band, jazz band, so coming here and learning more about these composers and seeing where they lived and where they were buried is super cool to me, and one of the most amazing parts of visiting Vienna. When Mozart was buried in 1791, the graves in the St. Mark's Cemetery were mainly shaft graves in the form of simple burial mounds with an occasional wooden cross. So even just a short time after his death, it was already hard to determine Mozart's exact burial place. After extensive research, the decision was made in 1859 to build a representative tomb here. That tomb was moved to the Vienna Central Cemetery in 1891 for the 100th anniversary of Mozart's death. This tomb was built in its place. It has been mostly unaltered and can still be found here today in the St. Mark Cemetery. We hope you enjoyed our video about Mozart in Vienna, Austria. In the next video, we will learn more about Beethoven. Thank you for watching this video. This is WITY Travels. What could possibly be next?